For all of human history, the stars were a destination we could only dream of. A beautiful, untouchable shore separated by an ocean of impossible distance.
In the 1970s, we sent out our first messages in a
Bottled the Voyager probes, carrying a golden record of our existence. But what if that has finally changed?
What if the dream of a generation could become the reality of ours?
Scientists are now forging an engine that isn't just a fantasy.
An engine that will cross the void in 20 years, not 76,000. Our nearest star, powered by an engine made of light. Before we can grasp the impossible, we must first understand the absolute.
Sheer, soul-crushing scale of the cosmos.
They are the fastest objects humanity has ever flung into the void. And yet, after a lifetime of travel, they are barely outside our cosmic neighborhood.
And hopeful thing we have ever done. It carries the sound of a mother's first words to her newborn child.
The music of Bach and Chuck Berry.
The brainwaves of a young woman in love.
It is a ghost of our world, a fragile
Echo of who we are, cast into an eternal ocean. The hope was that someday, somewhere, another. That for a brief moment, in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, we existed.
But this gesture of hope is
also a monument to our limitation. To reach our nearest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri, the Voyager probes would need to travel for over 76,000 years, a span of time longer than all of recorded human civilization. This is the enemy of our dream. It has no malice, no form.
It is a barrier made of mathematics and physics.
A silent, unyielding foe we call the Tyranny of Distance. For decades, it seemed insurmountable.
To fight a tyrant, you need a giant.
And in the 1970s, at the same time the lonely Voyagers were being designed, a group
of the most brilliant minds at the British Interplanetary Society decided to dream up a giant killer.
If conventional rockets were too slow, they would build an unconventional one,
If the journey was too long, they would shorten it with unimaginable power.
They called their dream Project Daedalus. This was not a probe. It was a monument. Less a spaceship, and more a 54,000-ton city. Block strapped to a series of controlled thermonuclear explosions.
A skyscraper tipped on its side.
And given the heart of a star.
The plan was as elegant as it was terrifyingly audacious.
Daedalus's fusion engine would detonate 250 tiny pellets of fuel per second, creating miniature suns.
In its wake, propelling the colossal craft forward to 12% of the speed of light.
Was Bar, 6 light years away.
The scientists and engineers who designed Daedalus knew they would be old or gone by the time it arrived.
It was a generational act of faith, a testament to the
idea that a dream could be so big, it outlived the dreamer.
On board, intelligent systems and telescopes would awaken as they neared the star.
Becoming the first human-made objects to study another solar system, up close.
But the giant was shackled by its own size.
The dream collapsed under the weight of reality.
To build it, we would have had to construct a shipyard in orbit.
To fuel it, we would have had to mine.
The atmosphere of Jupiter for a rare isotope of helium-3.
The cost would have bankrupted nations.
Daedalus was a magnificent, glorious, perfectly engineered idea that was utterly impossible.
It was the peak of a certain kind of thinking.
Like the theoretical Bussard ramjet, a ship designed to scoop up interstellar hydrogen as it flew, it was a brute force solution.
These were humanity's titans, designed to punch a hole through the fabric of the cosmos.
And they all taught us the same humbling lesson: the tyranny of distance.
Could not be defeated by a bigger engine or a larger fuel tank.
Our ambition was writing checks that our technology simply couldn't cash.
To win this fight, we couldn't just build a bigger fist.
We had to change the game entirely.
And we wouldn't know how until a faint, almost imperceptible wobble was detected from the star next door.
The fall of the giants left a void. For decades, the dream of interstellar travel went quiet, relegated to the dusty backrooms of science.
It was a field of magnificent, abandoned blueprints. We had proven we could dream on a colossal scale, but we
had no practical way forward, and more importantly, we had nowhere to go.
dawn of the 21st century brought a new hope.
Telescopes like Kepler began scanning the skies, and suddenly we were drowning in new worlds. Thousands of them. Planets orbiting distant stars became commonplace, a standard part of the cosmic furniture.
But this discovery was a double-edged sword.
It showed us that we lived in a galaxy teeming with planets.
But they were almost all hundreds, or even thousands, of light years away.
They were tantalizing mirages in an unreachable desert.
What good is a promised land if the journey there takes 1,000 lifetimes?
The unspoken Holy Grail, the one destination that could change everything, was a rocky, Earth-like world orbiting our nearest neighbor, the Alpha Centauri system.
But for years, our searches came up empty.
The great cosmic irony seemed to be that our very own doorstep was barren.
And then, in 2016, everything changed.
The discovery didn't come from a breathtaking photograph, but from the faintest, most delicate of signals.
Astronomers were watching Proxima Centauri, the tiny, dim red
dwarf star gravitationally bound to its two brighter siblings.
And they saw it wobble.
A tiny, rhythmic gravitational tug, so minuscule it was almost lost in the noise.
It was the signature of a planet. This wasn't just any planet.
Named Proxima b, it had a mass just 1.17 times that of Earth.
The temperature could be just right for liquid water to exist on its surface.
The news ripped through the scientific community like a shockwave. This was it.
The game had changed. Interstellar travel was no longer a philosophical fantasy.
It was now a concrete engineering challenge with a destination.
The age of giants was over.
It was time for a new kind of hero.
Born not of brute force, but of pure, focused ingenuity. The discovery of Proxima b was the spark, but a spark needs fuel. That fuel came from a group of visionaries, including physicist Stephen Hawking and billionaire Yuri Milner. They announced a project so audacious, so unlike anything that had come before, that it felt like it was pulled from the pages of science fiction. They called it Breakthrough Starshot. Their solution to the tyranny of distance was brilliantly counterintuitive. All previous designs, from chemical rockets to the giant Daedalus, were crippled by one thing: fuel.
The need to carry your own propellant makes a spacecraft heavy, and that weight requires even more fuel to push.
It's a vicious cycle.
The Starshot concept broke that cycle with one radical idea: leave the engine at home. The impossible engine isn't a single device on a ship. It is a planetary-scale system of breathtaking ingenuity. It begins with the hero of our story, the nanocraft. Imagine a fully functional spacecraft with cameras, sensors, navigation systems, and a tiny power source, all miniaturized onto a silicon chip no bigger than a postage stamp, weighing a single gram.
This is our explorer.
This star chip is attached to the center of a light sail, a 4-meter-wide sheet of.
These are the vessel's wings. Thousands of these nanocraft will be carried into orbit by a conventional
Mothership and released, drifting in the blackness like a cloud of technological spores.
And then comes the fire, the heart of the engine.
On Earth, deep in a high-altitude desert, an array of powerful lasers covering a square kilometer will lock onto a single sail.
firing in perfect unison, they will merge into a single
coherent beam of light. A 100 gigawatt lance of pure energy.
It is the most powerful laser beam ever conceived. A torrent of photons that will slam into the light sail with relentless force. The acceleration will be brutal, tens of thousands of times the gravity we feel on Earth.
In just a few minutes, as the nanocraft screams away from our planet, it will
be accelerated to 20% of the speed of light, over 100 million miles per hour.
By making the spacecraft almost massless and pushing it with light.
From an external source, it solves the problem that doomed the giants.
It doesn't try to punch its way through the void with brute force.
It is an act of supreme finesse, a tiny, impossibly fast
needle designed to slip through a cosmic wall that once seemed impenetrable. The impossible engine was no longer just a dream. It was a blueprint. The launch will be a spectacle of fire and light, a testament to human power.
But after those first few minutes of violent acceleration, the real mission begins.
A 20-year journey of profound loneliness and unimaginable peril.
For 2 decades, our tiny, fragile hero will cross
the dark, cold void between the suns, utterly alone. The engine, its creator, is 4 light years behind it. There is no turning back.
This is no gentle cruise.
At 20% of the speed of light, the interstellar medium is transformed into a cosmic minefield. a kinetic bomb, capable of obliterating the nanocraft in a silent flash. Cosmic rays, the high-energy particles of deep space, are a constant shower of radiation threatening to fry its delicate electronics. To survive, the starship must be a master of navigation, using the light of distant stars.
To make infinitesimal course corrections, a silent tightrope walker on a wire trillions of miles long.
If it survives, it will face its greatest challenge in a blinding flash.
The arrival at Proxima Centauri will not be a graceful orbit.
It will be a violent flyby.
The nanocraft will scream through the entire planetary system in a matter of hours.
In that fleeting window, its onboard AI
must wake, orient, and capture everything it can. Photographs that could reveal oceans and continents, spectroscopic readings that could taste the air for the chemical signatures of life.
Then comes the final, monumental challenge, the one that keeps its creators awake at night.
How does a 1-gram probe, with a power source smaller than a watch battery, transmit its priceless data back home?
How does it shout across 4.2 light-years of galaxy?
Emptiness with a voice.
That is barely a whisper?
Perhaps it will use its sail as a massive antenna.
Perhaps it will charge its capacitors for days to unleash
a single, compressed blast of information, a final, desperate flash of discovery.
In the end, we must accept that many of these tiny explorers will be lost.
The tyranny of distance will claim its due. Success is not a guarantee.
But the meaning of this mission has already transcended its outcome.
It represents a fundamental evolution in the human story.
We are no longer the species that stands on
the shore, hopefully tossing messages into the cosmic ocean.
We are now the species that has built a sail of light to cross it.
The Breakthrough Starshot is more than a mission to another star.
It is the culmination of a dream that began with the lonely ghosts of Voyager.
It is the definitive answer to the silence.
Each of these tiny, fragile chips carries the same essential message as the golden record.
Not just the data of a planet, but the spirit of the people who sent it. Spirit of boundless curiosity, of relentless ingenuity, and a
refusal to accept that any distance is truly impossible.
The audacious Starshot mission is more than just a story about technology.
It's a profound reflection of our own lives.
We all face our own version of the tyranny of distance, those seemingly
insurmountable obstacles that stand between who we are and who we want to become.
It might be a career goal that feels a lifetime away, a personal challenge that seems unbeatable.
The simple, vast distance that sometimes grows
between ourselves and the people we love.
For years, our first instinct is often to build a Daedalus to apply brute force.
to work harder, to push against the problem with all our might.
Only to find ourselves exhausted and no closer to our destination.
The true lesson of this story is the revolutionary power of changing our perspective.
The breakthrough wasn't a bigger engine, it was a smaller ship.
It was the realization that the solution wasn't to punch through
the wall, but to find a cleverer way to slip through it.
This is a wisdom that often comes with experience.
We learn that pure effort has its limits, and that true progress comes from reframing
the problem, applying our ingenuity, and having the courage to try a completely different approach.
This mission reminds us that the dreams we pursue are often
generational, built on the foundations laid by those who came before us.
We may not always see the final destination, but by daring to think differently, we can launch a legacy of hope
and possibility for those who will follow.
We would be honored to hear your thoughts in the comments. What has been the impossible distance in your own life, and?
How did a change in perspective help you begin to cross it?
Thank you for spending this time with us. Be well, and never stop looking up.